Hi guys, I just said I'd put together a small video to go through the 4 examples we did in class last week. Now I know some of you still don't have the student version on your laptops at home, but listen, some of you might find this useful at some stage between now and Christmas, just to freshen up your memories on the couple of commands that we're going to go through. So I'm just going to go straight into it. The first one is mirror command. So again, I'd asked in class that the point here, so dead center of the part, would be set as the origin. We'd leave that as the origin. We draw a construction line directly up through the middle of it, and then we'd mirror the entities on the left across the construction line we draw onto the right. So let's get started with it. We're going to click new, click OK, and I mightn't have mentioned it in class before, but always work off of millimeters, grams and second. Some of you, it might be set to IPS, might be set to inch, pound, second on the student versions you have at home, but make sure it's set to mmgs. So I'm going to click sketch, front plane, and we're going to start with this line here. So that line is going to be 36. It's the radius, so it's half the diameter from the origin to this point. So it's going to be 36 from the origin to that point. So I'm just going to draw a line, what I think is roughly 36. I'm going to draw 24. Just hit enter to that. Just going to put a smart dimension on it, and 24. Hit enter. The dimension from that point to the origin is going to be 36. So again, just put 36 in that. Now I'm going to draw the construction line. So this line is going to be used to mirror the entities later on in the sketch. So I'm going to click center line here. Just click it down somewhere from the origin, directly underneath it. And we're going to pull it up a nice bit, because we want it to be up past all the parts we're going mirroring from that side. So I'm just going to click it here. Click escape. Now the rest of this. So this line here is 10. So I'm going to go up 10. This line here is 14. There's no dimension on this side, but it's symmetrical. So the 14 here from this point to this point is also here from this point to this point. So that's 14. The height of this is going to be 55, so it's the 45 plus the 10. And then just finish off, draw that line into the construction line that we've drawn here. So let's do that much. So click line, click the point here, track it up roughly 10. Going to come in roughly 14, and then we're going up 55. So click the 55 and then just draw it in and snap it to that line again, and just hit escape on that. So let's put in the dimensions. Just click smart dimension, click the line. Again, it's a good habit to dimension from line to line rather than point to point, because it stops them from swinging, it stops them from orientating at an angle. It's just a better way of doing it. If you can, at some points you won't be able to dimension from line to line. It'll have to be line to point, but again, just be conscious of it. If you can dimension it line to line, do it that way. So this is 10. Line to line again. I'm going to put that up here as 14, and the dimension from this line to this line is going to be 55. So that's 55 there. Now what's next? Next we're going to do this circle. So we need to get the center point of the circle, and to do that we need to do a small little bit of maths. So this 72 has a radius of, it's a diameter 72, so radius again of 36. It's 45 from that center point to that line. So if I take the radius of this circle from the 45, 36 from 45 will give me 9. So from this line to the corner quadrant here, the circle is going to be 9. So that means that the center point of the circle directly across from it is going to be 9 plus the 10 is 19. So I hope that makes sense. So we click circle here, and again it's going to be on this center line. So I'm going to click here again, radius of 36. So just track that out, click smart dimension, click this across here. Again, we're putting 72 on it. Hit enter, and again, dimension from the line to the center point is going to be, I'm going to bring it to this side because I'll be mirroring the images. Again, I'm trying to touch the screen to show you, but I'm mirroring the images or the entities from this side to this side. So if I leave the dimension here, it's going to be in the middle of the part. So I'm going to pull it out to this side. Click it here, put in 19. And again, just hit escape. So I need to put a line from here to this quadrant here. So I'm going to click line. I'm going to click on this point. I'm going to drag it straight up and snap it to that quadrant. And hit escape. Now that's still undefined, so I need to put a vertical constraint on that. So I click the line, and you can see here then in the feature tree on the left I have relation, so I'm going to add a vertical relation to that. So I'm going to click vertical, and hopefully that has turned black. No, I think that point is still, so that point is able to be dragged, so I'm going to trim that line, just trim it across here, and now we're fully defined. So that point hadn't been locked to the circle, so I just needed to trim it back and make sure it was attached to it. And again, I also need to trim these bits. So I'm still on trim. I'd left click and hold, and you'll see the grey line, so wherever that crosses it's going to delete. So that's that. And then I'm also going to delete this piece here. Okay, so that's everything I need for the left hand side. So now all I have to do is mirror it across. So I click on mirror up here in the top, mirror entities. So just click that. Now again in class, I think I might have showed you that if you left click and drag to the right, usually that highlights the box highlights. I'm just going to try it again. There we go. So if you left click and drag from left to right, it's going to bring up this box, and this box will only highlight the entities that are fully inside the box. So if you see there, just these ones. Now I want these two as well, so I'm just going to hit escape there. I'm going to left click here, and I'm going to drag from right to left. And when I let go now, it highlights. For some reason it's not highlighting, so I'm just going to try it once more. Left click and drag from right to left. There we go. Now it's highlighted everything. Every entity that even is partially inside in that box will be highlighted. So again, they're all highlighted. And just to do it once more, just make sure you don't highlight the line that you're going to use as your mirror, because that can cause problems. It's trying to mirror about itself, and sometimes it just doesn't work. So let's just do that again. Left click, drag from right to left, highlight all the entities, then come across here. I haven't selected mirror, so I'm just going to do that again. Click mirror, left click here, drag from right to left. All the entities are highlighted. I click mirror about here on the left in the feature tree. Click the line, and you can see here this is where the entities are going to be mirrored to. So that's exactly what I'm looking for. I click OK to that, and I'm fully defined. So that's exactly what I'm looking for, a fully defined sketch. Now again, you may have drawn it differently in class, that's fine. You don't have to do it the exact same way as I'm doing it. So long as you're getting fully defined here, that's fine by me. And also, make sure that you're not using more lines than you need to. Don't have two segments of line from this point to this point. If you can use one segment of line, just use the one segment. So I'm just going to click exit sketch. Just going to just click the middle, the wheel. Just click, hold it down, and just put a little spin in it, just so that you can see it being extruded. So I think it was 64 for that. So I'm going to click features, click extruded boss, and again I want to use a mid-plane constraint. So just click the drop down, click mid-plane. Now that's at 10. I want 64. So I'm just going to highlight that, change it to 64. Now you can see there it doesn't automatically update. So if you want it to to update, you just click left click here and it updates it. So I'm just going to do that once more. So if I click 10 here, it hasn't updated. So just left click here in the main screen and it updates it for you. So you can see exactly what the shape is going to look like. So again, just back to 64, click it, looks right, click OK. So that's piece 1. And again, you can just save it. So I have these saved already. This is take 2 of this video, so hopefully this one works. So again, just save it as bridge and move on to the next one. So just gonna delete that. Now, next one. Offset command. So for this one, we're going to just draw one continuous line, this back one here. We're going to have this point here as our origin. We're going to draw a straight line from here to here, straight down, straight across, straight up, and straight across again. And then we're going to put the fillets in afterwards. Then we'll use our offset command to create this outside line. So let's just draw the straight lines first. So it's going to be 30 for this section, then 30. So it's 150 minus 30 is 120 for this, then 30 up again, and then 30 across here again. So click new, part, okay. Then we're clicking sketch tab here, sketch here, click front plane, and just to show you the grid, if you right click and track down, you see display grid here, and it just brings up a grid. Now some of you might find it useful, some of you mightn't. It's down to personal preference really. You don't have to have it on or off. So let's just leave it on for this one. So we're going to click a line, going to start in the origin. So you'll see there the green dot is highlighted again, so just click there. We're going to go in, what are we going in, 30, roughly 30. Now again, I just have a tendency of dimensioning the first line, first circle, the first entity that I draw, I'll dimension it. It's just force of habit, and I think it's a good one, so let's just dimension that. It gives you a scale for the rest of the shape, so I'm just going to readjust the screen so that I know that I'll get all of this next line in the one go. I don't have to move around the screen anymore, so I'm going to set it at that. I'm going to click line again. I'm going to click the point here, down 30, cross, where are we, 120, up 30 again, and then out 30, 30. There we go. Okay, dimension. So I'm going to dimension it now, line to line where possible. Click here to here, 30. So I'm going to put 30 on this, and then this line is 120. So I'm going to put 120 on this, and then this line, just to show you where things can go wrong, I'm going to put an equal constraint on this. Now it's not going to work out, but I'll show you it anyway. So if I click that line, hold control and click this line and make them equal, because they're both 30. So if I click equal here, you'll see the 2 equal to the 2. So that's that there. Now next is my fillets. So this radius here, this R5 is a radius, and it's the internal radiuses, or radii, to give it its correct term. So we have a 5 here, and then we also have an internal radius of 5 here and 5 here. So the R10, the radius 10, is the external. So it's this one, this one, this one, and this one. So I need 2 of each. I need 2 10s and 2 5s. So let's start with the 10s. So I go up to the top, command bar, click fillet, 10 is set here. Now if I click this edge and this edge, it's not going to work for me. So it's saying at least one segment has to be filleted, has a midpoint. So the problem here is that it can't fillet this side without filleting this one at the very same time, because they have to be equal. So what I need to do is get rid of that equal constraint. So I'm going to change it to dimension. So just to delete the equal constraint, so I can click either that 2. Once I click one of them, they both highlight. So click, left click and delete, and again under define, so I need to dimension this fella. So I'm going to click dimension, this edge, put the 30 on it, hit enter. Now ready to go with the dimensions with the fillets. So I'll click fillet here, click this edge is 10. Now you don't need to hit enter just yet. If you want to put on multiple 10 fillets, you can do them all in one go. So I'm going to put on this side, and again you don't have to click edge to edge, you can click the point. So click the point there, hit enter. That's my 2 10s. Now fillet is still active, so I'm going to put in the 2 5s. So if I highlight here on the left, put in 5, and then I'm going to click the point again. So click the point, because I'm lazy and I don't want to click 2 things when I can click 1. Click the point again and just hit enter. So that's that back edge, this back line here. So we leave that there. Offset. So here's what we came for. I'm just gonna finish this and click here, click the tick, and then offset. So I'm gonna click offset here. I'm gonna offset this full line. So when I click one edge, it's gonna go from end to end as it's a continuous line. So here we go. Now I'm gonna change this to 5, and I'm just gonna click again. Click on the main screen so that that's now after clicking too much. As you can see, it's gone. It's clicked inside rather than outside. So that's not what I want. So I'm just gonna hit the favorite button of undo here, and I'm gonna go back. Just gonna click again into offset. So I'm gonna click this line, set up my 5. Now it's on the inside. That's where I want it to be. So if I wanted it to go on the opposite side, I'd click reverse, but I don't. So I'm gonna unclick reverse, and that's exactly where I want it to be, and click finish. Now to extrude it, I need to close the sketch. So as you can see, this end here is open and this end here is open. So I'm just going to draw a line on both ends. So again, just click, and then click and click. So that's the two of them done. So that's a closed sketch and it's fully defined. So let's get out of here. Exit sketch. I'm just going to right click and pull again, just a habit I have it doing. Click features here in the top, click extrude boss. Now again, let's stick with the mid plane constraint for this, and also the handle thickness is 20. Yeah, 20. So that's what I'm extruding. And just left click here to update, and again it's giving you an outline of what it's going to look like, so I'm happy with that. I'm gonna click OK. Now next we're going to do the holes. So as you can see, there's 2 holes here and here. They're 5.5 through, so they're for M5 hole or for M5 bolts, and they're 10 in from this edge, one of them, and they're both on the center line, so they're 10 because the thickness is 20, and it's 10 in from this edge because 180 minus the 10. So let's put the holes in it. So I'm gonna click on sketch, I'm gonna click on new sketch, and I'm gonna click this edge here. Now I want to look at that, so I'm just gonna click the Y. Is that the right? That's looking at the back. No, so I don't want to look at the back. I'm gonna click on, sorry, no, we want to look at the back, so I'm just using the arrow keys here to spin that around. Now where are we? We're going to put in the 2 circles, so we're going to put one here and we're going to put another one here, and again this is just dimensioning, so I'll do this pretty quickly. Put a 10 on that, we'll put a 10 on this, I'm going to put a 10 here. I didn't click the line, so just click the line, click the point, drag it up, 10 here. Now I want both holes to be the same size, so I'm going to put an equal constraint on them. So I'm going to click the circle, hold control, and then click the second circle. As you can see, the 2 of them have highlighted, and I'm going to click equal. So the 2 of them are equal. You can see just the 0 is on both. Again, I tend to say constraints. If you hear me saying constraints, I actually mean relations. So I'm going to put a dimension on that of 5.5. So that's the 2 holes. We're still under defined. I need to lock this circle, can still move. It's not moving there now, but again I need to lock that to the same center point as this. So I'm going to click the center point of that circle. Don't think it's highlighted for me, so I need to zoom in and make sure that I've clicked the center point. So click the center point, the circle. Don't need to hold it, just click. Now hold control and click the other center point. And again, that's clicked this constraint instead of clicking what I wanted to click. So just going to hit escape to that. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to click the circle, center point of the circle. Zoom out, zoom over to this side. Hold control, click the other center point. Now the 2 of them are highlighted. And I'm going to put horizontal constraint on it. So the 2 of these holes are locked. Fully defined sketch. We can exit. So exit. And again, I'm just clicking and holding down the wheel just to put a bit of an isometric view on it. I'm going to go into features, and now I want to cut these away. So instead of extruded boss, I'm going to go extruded cut. I'm going to click that. Now it's automatically selected the two holes for me, so you can see that it sketched the two of them. So instead of going blind, I'm going to click through all. You can see this come down here, 20 mils. It's fine for this because I'm not adding anything onto the bottom of it, but just click through all. It's usually the one you'll be clicking. Again, you can click either of them so long as it goes through the whole part, but for this we're going to click through all. Click OK. Now 2 holes are on it. So one last thing we have to do is the fillets. So we just have 4 fillets on the corners again, so that no one catches a finger or cuts themselves on it. So we're going to stay. I don't need to go back into the sketch. I don't need to put a sketch on this face and sketch the fillets and then extruded cut the fillets away. There's a fillet command right here in the features. So I'm still in features. I'm going to go up here to fillet, click fillet. Now I want 5, so I'm going to change that to 5. That's 5 there. So I'm going to click this corner, and again the yellow highlights where the fillet is going to be. Click this corner, zoom out and just spin it. I'm going to zoom in, I'm going to click this edge, and I'm going to click this edge. So there are my 4 fillets. Click OK, and my 4 fillets are on the part. So that's that. And again, for the duration of this course, I wanted to try and keep your fillets and chamfers to the end of the part. It's a good habit to get into, because if you start putting the fillets and chamfers in between extruded boss and extruded cut and hole wizard and all this, if they ever have to be deleted or changed, they can cause problems. So keep your fillets and chamfers to the end of the feature tree. No, that's everything we need for that. Just quick check. Yeah, so that's that part done. Again, I've already saved it, so just if you want, click save and save it as handle. Next up is a circular pattern. So the plan for this is to draw this initial circle, 100, diameter of 100, and then we're going to draw this. We're going to draw a triangle. We're not going to put these arcs on it first. We're going to draw a full triangle. So we're going to put a line across here, line down, line up to this side, dimension it, and then we're going to use our circular pattern. So we're going to put 8 pockets in it. So to start with, we'll draw this circle and this triangle. So new again, click OK, and sketch, click on the front plane. Let's put the grid on again, just for the sake of doing it. Click circle, click the center point here, you'll see it goes green. Snap to the center point. And again, another thing that's a good habit to get into, the first entity you draw, try and have it locked to the origin. There's no point having to dimension it away from the origin, putting in dimensions of like drawing the center of the circle here and then having to put a relation on it so that it's horizontal from the origin and then a dimension from it. Just snap the center of the circle to the origin. It just makes life easier, and it makes less dimensions, less relations. So diameter of 100. Hit escape. I'm going to put a construction line up through the middle of that. So I'm going to click line. Really I want a construction line, but just to show you, I'm going to click line. It's going to drag it down opposite the origin, and I'm going to click it up here. Now again, I don't want that to be a solid line because I don't want to use that at the extrusion stage in features. So I actually only want a construction line. So you don't have to delete and redo it. You can click on the line that's highlighted it, come across here to the feature tree and click, see your options here, click for construction, and now it's changed it to a construction line. So that's what I'm looking for. Now let's draw the triangle. So back to line again, just draw it here anywhere, snap it to that center line, snap that point there, and let's use dimension. So I want from this point to this line is going to be 10. The whole length of it is 20. Now again, I think that's, again, it's just the automatic, it's the automatic snap of SolidWorks, so I don't actually want that. So I'm going to just hit escape, and then it's going to give me the dimension I want. So I'm going to put 20 on that. The distance from this line to the center point is not coming up for me. So I'm going to click Smart Dimension again, click this line, click the center point, pull it away, and 45. Now, the center point of that triangle is here. You can see it just barely dimensioned here on the left of the cross. So that's 5. So I'm going to put that, the point of this triangle, 5 from the origin. So again, my dimension is still on. You can see it there. So I'm just going to click that point, click the origin. I'm going to put in 5. Now, fillets. So there's 2 mil fillets on all this. So I'm going to put in the fillets now before I circular pattern. So I'm going to click fillet. I'm going to change it to 2. And again, for some, I need to just click it to make sure it's active. I'm going to click that point. I'm going to click this point, and I'm going to click this point. And that's the 3 fillets that I want. Then I'm going to click OK to that. So that's everything fully defined before I go do my circular pattern. Right. Next, circular pattern. So if you see linear sketch pattern, just click the drop down box, click circular pattern. Now you need to zoom in close to make sure you're clicking the entities you want to circular pattern. And what I mean by that is, if you stay out here and you're trying to click, you can end up clicking these, you can end up clicking the relations and not clicking the actual lines. So just zoom in a little bit and make sure you're clicking all the lines. So click that edge, this edge, another fillet, other line, another fillet. Now if you zoom out again, see the yellow is tracking where the actual circular pattern is going to go. So that's exactly what I want. I actually want 8 of them, not 4, so I change that from 8 to 4, from 4 to 8 even. And again, it hasn't updated here with the yellow, so I just click, left click there, and it showed me where it's going to do it. So that's what I'm looking for. So I'm just going to click OK to that, and you'll see here, for some reason the circular pattern doesn't always lock the center of the circular pattern to the center that has been selected. So if you see here, if I click one of these edges and try and drag it, the center of the pattern hasn't been locked. You can see it moving there. See that blue dot in the center? So that's moving. So what I need to do is I need to lock that to the center. I need to lock it to the origin. So if I click that point, hold control, and click the origin. Now the 2 of them are highlighted, and I make them coincident. Now I have a fully defined sketch. And also, just when I see that highlighting there, I'm just going to do that once more. Undo and undo, and just undo once more so that it's there, right? Okay, so just click and pull it away so that I can see the point. Click the point, click the origin, and you're clicking coincident. Now see this fixed constraint, don't use it. It's an easy way out to just have a fully defined sketch, but you're gaining nothing. It's going to cause you problems later on when you go to extrude it, or something will be locked off a fixed point, and it's not good. Just don't use it. Use the other ones. Use the horizontal, vertical, coincident, equal, any of them. So for this one I'm going to use coincident. Click there. Fully defined sketch, so I can exit sketch, and I'm going to use feature and extruded boss. And again, it's picked the sketch, and I'm going to use midplane on it. And the depth of that was 50, so I'm going to change this to 50. Just going to click here to see it update, and that's it. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm going to click the OK here. So again, that's my alloy wheel. So you can just click save to that, and we'll move swiftly on to the next one. So just gonna, I don't need to save that one. Click new, and we're in part. OK, and we're clicking sketch, and top plane. So this is ready for the next one, and the last one we're going to use the revolve feature. So for this we're going to make an extended pulley, and we're just going to draw this sketch, and then we're going to revolve the sketch around this line here. So the way I'm going to draw this, I'm not going to just keep using line here, up, lines all the way around. I'm going to draw two rectangles. So I'm going to draw this main rectangle here in the bottom first, then I'm going to draw this rectangle here, and then I'm going to use trim to trim away the bits that I don't need. So again, this mightn't have been the way that you'd drawn it in class, but that doesn't make it wrong. It's just, I find this way, it's just a different way of doing things. You don't, so long as you're getting your fully defined sketch over here, it's all good. So let's start. 15 by 170 for this big rectangle, and then from this, the top of this to the bottom edge is 50 and 17.5. So let's start with that. I'm going to click on corner rectangle, and I'm going to click the origin. So again, starting with my first entity on the origin, and it's 170 by 15. So that's close enough there. And I'm going to dimension that. I'll put it here, and 15 and 170. So that's that. Now I'm just going to zoom so that that's center of my screen. All I'm doing there is zooming in and out with the wheel. Again, it zooms to and away from the point of the cursor. So if I want to go into the center of that, I zoom into the center of it. Put the point over the center and zoom into it. So that's that dimensions. Next, another rectangle. So I'm just going to snap it to that edge, and I'm going to just roughly draw it here. So just for dimensions as well, there's for dimensions and for sketching, if you right click and hold anywhere here and just move your mouse slightly in any direction, you see that this wheel comes up. Now this is just a quick access kind of toolbar or wheel. So if you right click and move to the left, it'll select line. If you move straight up dimension to the right, it'll use a circle, or down it'll use a rectangle. So I want dimension, so I'm just right clicking, holding it, and then moving it straight up, and once I tip the dimension, it's automatically selected. So I'm just going to put that in there. That's 50, and this to this is 17.5. Okay, and just one final one to get that rectangle is 32.5 here. So I'm going to put that in as well. I'm going to pull it down here. So okay, that's that done. Right. Next, I'm going to put in this little small box here. So it's 2.5 by 2.5, and it's just 12.5 in. So let's click in here. I'll put this in with the lines. So it's here, here, and here. And I'm going to zoom in just to make it easier so that I can see it for dimensioning. That's 12.5. This height here is 2.5. Again, just pulling it outside of the part itself. 2.5 here. Okay, and I need to trim away this little section as well. So I'm just going to click trim, left click and hold, and just drag it through it. Now, over to this side. What do we need to do here? So I'm just going to draw this shape roughly, and I'm going to trim away this segment of line here. And this, I'll put this dimension in the 2.5. So back onto line, click the rough shape of what it's going to look like, and again just right click and hold and pull it straight up, and when it touches it, automatically select it. So this one is 2.5. Now this is symmetric. Again, it's not shown, but we can assume it. So this is 17.5 minus 2.5, so that's 15, and then it's half the 15 on this side and half the 15 on this side of the 2.5. So that's 7.5. So just again, you're taking the 2.5 from the 17.5, you're left with 15, and 7.5 for this side and 7.5 for this side. So still in dimension, click this point to this line is going to be 7.5, and from this point to this line is also 7.5. Now that's going to over constrain the sketch. I'm glad that came up. I did it on purpose, really. No, but I don't need that dimension in it, because this line is already dimensioned with this 17.5, and I already have the 17.5 and the 2.5 to this, so this can only be 7.5. So I'm going to just make it a driven dimension so that it shows up, but I can't actually change it, just so that I can see, just so that it's obvious there. So if I just leave that there, and you'll see it's gone grey, so it's a driven dimension, it can't actually be changed. So where are we next? We have 10 from this edge to this edge, and we have 2.5 from here, on both sides. So I'm gonna just right click and hold and drag it up. Dimension from top edge to this edge is 10, and just from this edge, sorry about that, just checking something, from this edge, or this point to this point, is 2.5, and from this point to this point is also 2.5. So I'll just put that in there. Now everything is fully defined. Lovely. So I need to get to trimming. This piece has to come away, and this section here has to come. So I'm going to click trim. I'm going to left click and hold and drag it through it. So that's trimmed that away. I'm also going to trim this section. That's trimmed that away. Now what's left? Fillets and chamfers. So I'm going to put the fillets and chamfers in here in the sketch. So I need to put a 10 by 10 on this end and this end, and a 2.5 fillet here and here. Now for this chamfer here, you could have drawn the line and put the dimensions on it, but there's no need to when the chamfer command is there. So if you click sketch chamfer and click this edge and click this edge, it's going to put it in for you, so you don't actually have to go drawing the line, trimming. That's what it's there for. The chamfer command it's very useful. So again, it's still active, I think, and we'll click this point, and again it's put a chamfer on this side. So that looks good. I'm just going to go down this end, and I'm going to clear up the dimensions slightly. So I'm going to pull the biggest ones to the outside. So again, the 15, the 10, I'm going to pull that down a small bit, and I'm going to pull this 10 down here as well. Again, just trying to declutter the sketch slightly. There isn't really much I can do with that. It's just the way it is there. There's a lot of dimensions on it. I'll delete this driven dimension off it. Now, slightly less crowded. So we put in the fillets in here at 2.5s. So I'm just going to click fillet. I'm going to set the size as 2.5, and then I'm going to click this edge and this edge, or I'm going to click the point as well. So I have the two of them. I can do the two of them in the one hit. I don't have to click on one, save it, and then click the other one. The two of them will come on at the same time. So just hit enter to that. Just hit escape, and again we're fully defined. So exit sketch. Again, I'm just clicking the wheel and giving it a little twist, and I'm going to extrude. I'm not going to extrude. Here's the revolve part. So I'm in the features tab, and instead of extruded boss like we've been using up to now, we're going to use a revolved boss. So I click this. Now I'm going to click the edge. It's asking me for an axis of revolution, so I'm going to click the edge that I want that this piece, the sketch, to revolve around. So I want this edge here. So if I click this edge, it's going to revolve around that. Now if I click the wrong one, I double click an axis of revolution, hit delete. That's deleted it. So it's still active here, and I can click, say if I clicked this one here, that'll make a different type of revolution, but it's still using the same sketch. It's just using a different axis to revolve it. So I don't actually want that. I'm going to delete it, and I'm going to put it back the way we wanted it. So I'm going to click this edge here on the inside. I'm going to click OK, and that's it. That's our revolve finished. So that's the four examples that we did in class. I'm just going to leave it at that. Listen, you can go back through them at some stage if you want to refresh your memories, and if not, it's there. It'll be there if you ever need it. So yeah, best of luck. Hope this has helped, and we'll see you next week.